And we're gonna make ourselves some smoky, beautiful pork butt bacon. Yes, you heard me right. Pork butt bacon. It's gonna be home style. It's gonna be from your local neighborhood butcher, Tom, and we're gonna do it up right. You guys, pork butt bacon. It tastes good. It is good. And it's made with fresh ingredients and your own smoke. This is a pecan and applewood smoked bacon, and it is phenomenal. How do you go wrong? We're going to start with this beautiful pork butt. Looks like about 8 pounds of pork butt. And then we're going to use all these beautiful spices and delights to get ourselves a beautiful, beautiful marinade to put this pork butt in, to cure it out and make us some beautiful bacon. There's a gorgeous side to this that is that's boneless, and if you look at it, you can see your bone right here. Well, and that's basically cartilage. You see how it goes from that white clear bone, which is cartilage, up into the regular bone? You can actually slice through that with a knife. So we're going to pull that all the way over to about right here. You know, we're going to try to get in between that bone and cartilage and cut off that whole boneless piece right here, to make us, you know, a beautiful piece of meat to cure out. We're going to be able to cut pieces of bacon off this, you know, little slices of bacon off this. So let's get this baby open. Ooh, you see how that got right through there? Now here we go. Take a look at that. You see that really white bone right there? Well, that's cartilage. And if you look, your knife will go right into that. See how that cut into that? Well, your knife will not go into that bone. It will go right into that cartilage. And honestly, if you can get right in between there, that's even perfect. So the farther you can get over into this boneless piece, that little tip of bone right there, it only lasts just a little ways back. And you can pop that right out of there and make more bacon out of this piece of meat. So we're going to try to get ourselves right in this spot. There we go. Right in half, just like that. And you see this little piece of meat here? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And this is what we're going to make our bacon out of. And then you see that little bone right there? You're basically just making that little thing out, just each side of it, and it's just going to pop right out of there, just like that. Done deal. Now that is a fully boneless piece of pork. Now this here we're going to throw in the crock pot, or we're going to put on the smoker for future pulled pork. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this is going to be our pork butt bacon, and here's going to be our bone inside to that pork butt. So now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to split this in half so that I have 2 equal parts. So we're going to go right down the middle of this thing, just like that. All right. And that's going to be 2 beautiful pieces of bacon. Right there. Can't wait. I'm excited. You know, we're going to cure. Now we're going to make our marinade up for this stuff. But for now, it's going to cure out right here in our pan, and then we're going to work on making. I'm going to leave this fat on it because I really want the fat. And now we're going to make the actual marinade for this bacon. Or brining mixture for this bacon. First things first is we're going to start off with 1 cup of Himalayan salt. Just word to the wise, you guys. Pink Himalayan salt, make sure it is ground. Please. That was a mistake that I made while I was making this recipe, and I don't want you to make the same mistake. We're going to use the pink Himalayan salt. We're going to use the coarse ground stuff. And I have a 1/2 cup here. We're just going to get this thing going. Let's do. There's our pink Himalayan salt. And then we're going to use a 1/4 cup of honey. We're going to use this desert mesquite Crockett honey here. Good brand. I've had good luck with this stuff. And then we're going to use 1 1/3 cup of agave. And that's of our light agave. Let's add that in. Then we're going to use a 1/4 cup of coarse ground pepper, or 4 tablespoons of coarse ground pepper. Remember, you're going to wash a lot of this stuff off, so it might seem like a lot of stuff that you're putting on it right now, but it's really not terrible. And you're going to wash a lot of this stuff off. And then we're going to use 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. Love the smoked paprika. A lot of my smoking videos, I use the smoked paprika. It's going to add good color to it and just a different hint of smokiness. There we go. And we had just a tablespoon left of that. And then our ancho powder. We're going to go with a tablespoon of the smoked ancho powder. Doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. And then we need a tablespoon of our garlic. And then a tablespoon of our onion. All right. And we're ready to mix her up. And then we're going to need a 1/2 cup of warm water. And this warm water is just mainly to break down the salt, the sugars, and get them to dissolve in the mixture. All right, let's get to mixing this thing up. Oh my God, look at that heaven. That's going to be a masterful tasting brine. Looking marinade or brine. Make sure and taste it. That salty sweet goodness, and that is going to come out on that bacon so nice. I'm super stoked and super excited about this. All right, now we're just going to pour this over our pieces of pork here, and we're going to let this stuff literally sit in this for 3 days, and this is going to cure your bacon. Now you see, because I used the coarse ground Himalayan salt, you can still see some of that salt in there. So please, word of the wise, make sure that your salt is ground. Let's put this over, make sure we get all this thing just totally encapsulated with this sweet and salty goodness. This is going to be so good. I can't wait to eat this. Cannot wait. I'm just going to use a nice piece of tin foil here to make sure this thing's sealed. All right, and let's pop this to the refrigerator, and away we go. We're going to let that cure out for 1.5 days, and then we're going to take that and flip it and make sure it's coated again for another 1.5 days, and then on the smoker it goes. All right, let's take a look at our pork butt bacon. Remember, we've taken the boneless side off of our pork butt, and we've created this lovely brine for it. And it's been now about 4 days that this has been in this brine curing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to take it over to the sink, and we're going to wash this stuff off. Now we're going to uncover this bacon and be done with this marinade, so to speak. We're just going to wash this stuff off. You don't got to go super heavy on washing it off, but you want to get majority of it off there. You can already see it's a little stiff. You can tell it's curing up pretty good. Just wash it all off. Not terribly. Don't get everything off, but you want to give it a good wash. This is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. I'm excited. This is the other side of that pork butt, of this pork butt right here. This is the bone inside of it. I've taken a little bit of this brine, and we put mustard on here, and then I just added a little bit of brine to it as well. Right this moment though, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to totally dip it in this brine and totally get the brine all over it, and then stick it right on this, and that's going to be the base that I'm going to leave on the outside of this pork butt uncured. And then this is, we're going to smoke this, and after about 3 or 4 hours of smoking, then we're going to wrap it in tin foil and then stick it back on the smoker for another 3 hours, you know, at real low temperature, probably lower than 200 if we can get it, and just cook this thing until it's 200 degrees internally, and then we'll yank this baby out and shred it up, and it'll make a really good shredded pork, and then we'll add a little Sweet Baby Ray's to it, and there we go. Voila, we'll have a little pulled pork as well to go with our pork butt bacon. So we're looking at making a dinner out of one side and breakfast out of another side. Or you could cut these a little bit thicker and you could fry up a little, almost like a ham steak, you know, and serve as a meal for dinner if you wanted to. There's a lot of different ways we'll do it, but we'll show you how to cut it up. I'll show you different ways later on in the process. Something to look forward to. And then we'll show the shredding of this pork butt up too, and that'll be cool. So let's just take this out. Like I said, it's just been a little tiny bit of brine we put on it, but mainly it's just a mustard that's on the outside of this thing. And we're just going to give it a little bath here in this brine before we stick it on the smoker. I'm excited about this. Right there, and let it just sit in its own juices for a bit. That's going to be really, really good. I can't wait to stick that on the smoker. And we're going to do that right now. That we're going to make pulled pork out of. I can't wait, man. Doesn't that look just delicious? Okay, here's what we're going to use for our wood chips. We're going to use an apple pecan combination today. But first, let's get our smoker warmed up and get this thing going. All right. We'll let this thing warm up a little bit. Let's fill up our water pan. And then as soon as this thing gets to temperature, or gets to a decent temperature, we'll go ahead and stick our smoked chips in this thing and start rolling through the smoke. Let's get into our wood chips. So we're going to do a pecan apple wood mix, and I don't ever soak my chips. It just doesn't seem like it's worth the soaking. It just takes longer for the chips to heat up. I don't think it helps for doing them more evenly or any of those sorts of things, so I just go ahead and use mine dry. And that's just me personally. I know you probably hear a whole bunch of other things from other people saying how wrong I am, but so far in my young smoking career, it seems easy enough. Let's pop it in the smoker and we'll start smoking. We're up to 200 degrees now, so I'm going to pop this in, and then what we'll do is we'll lower this down to low, and then we'll start with that, and we'll see what temperature we can get down to. All right, well, let's let this smoker get smoking a little bit. We'll just let these sit out in the heat for a little bit longer. It's not hurting them one bit. And then we'll put these gorgeous pieces of meat in the smoker. It hasn't quite started smoking yet. You can see just maybe just a little haze, but the chips are just getting ready to start smoking. So we're going to put this guy here on this middle rack, and I'm going to do it this way so that I can put the temperature probe in the meat to get into that muzzle right there. And then I'm also going to do that with these as well. And we're going to go upside down because I want to go into this meat and down into that muscle to try to make sure that these are the right temperature. Look at this patina. This is what you want on your smoker. That's so gorgeous. Anyway, this is going to really start smoking heavily here in just a few minutes, and in about an hour and a half to 2 hours we're going to flip, and then another hour and a half. Hopefully this bacon will be done, and then we'll wrap that up and run that another 3 hours. Let's open this smoker up. It's been about an hour and 45 minutes now, and oh my lord, look at that, huh? Gorgeous. Gorgeous bacon. Oh my lord. Juicy and gorgeous. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to let that baby cook just like it is. We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and I'm going to start checking the temperature on the bacon and the pork butt just to see where we are temperature wise. 140. We're there. It's ready now. That's 150. Let's give this guy a poke and see where we are here. So you see that pork butt, it's a lot bigger piece of meat, even though it's sitting on a bottom rack. It's only sitting at 130 degrees. I'm going to give this just another little round of smoke. Little apple, little pecan. Get that going in there. And we'll do one more round of smoke. Get that bacon up just a little bit more. Alright, our pork butt bacon is done. Ooh, look how lovely that looks. Oh my god. That looks phenomenal. You know, my wife brought up a good point that this pork butt bacon is actually a lot like Canadian bacon, but I don't know about that. We'll see how it tastes. But there it is. We've already tested the temperature. Remember when we looked at it before, the center of those things were 150 degrees. So we've let them cook now another, maybe another hour. So I'm guessing that it's in that, 150 to 160 range, and it's perfect. Now we'll let this cure overnight and slice it and fry it. There's our beautiful pork butt. We're going to let that continue to get a little smoke here and finish out this pan of wood chips. Let's see how far we are on our wood chips. Let's see, we probably got another 45 minutes on those wood chips, and then we'll let that smoke out, and then we'll cover this pork butt up and let it finish out. But this is beautiful. We're going to put that in the fridge and let those finish off, and we'll slice it up and make some bacon out of it tomorrow. Beautiful. So here's the nice pork butt. That thing is beautiful. Been on 3, almost 4 hours now, and we ran it through 2 different kinds of smoke, and now we're just going to wrap it up and finish it off. So here's your bone side. So we're going to check the temperature real quick of this thing while we have it out, see where we're at. So about 145 right now. All right, we're going to turn this baby up, wrap it up, turn it up, and get it ready to finish. She's going right back in there in the middle. And then we're going to, let's take a look at this thing, turn our burner up just a little bit more here. Right there. So you see we're sitting just under 200. When I first opened it, it was just under 200. So now, it's about 150-ish, 145-ish. When I opened it up, it was 175. to 185, somewhere in that range. It's a little hard to tell, but we turned up the burner a little bit. We've wrapped our meat up after we put 2 rounds of smoke on it, and now it's just ready to keep going. So we'll finish it off and get it up to that between 195 and 205, somewhere in that range, so that we know it's done all the way through. All right, let's pull out our pork butt bacon. Let's give this pork butt bacon a slice, and let's take a look and see what we have here. Ooh, doggy. Look at that stuff. That looks so good. So good. All right, I'm going to give this just a little facing here. Oh my God, look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Let's give this thing make sure we're giving ourselves a good blade on this thing, good edge on this knife to make sure we can slice this bacon down correct. Oh my Lord, look at that. Doesn't that look so good? It has a really good smell to it. This is going to be, of course, a little thicker bacon because I'm slicing it by hand. Oh my God. That is so good. Pork butt bacon, boys and girls. That's the first one. And this is a piece we sliced off from last night, just to give it a try. And let's go ahead and finish slicing this thing. And then we'll get it packaged up. We'll put it in some Ziploc bags and really take as much of the air out as we possibly can, so that we have a nice, good seal, so it keeps the oxygen off of it so it doesn't turn brown or that grayish look. Ham will get that grayish look, or bacon will get that grayish look after you've exposed it to air. Oxygen is the killer to most meats, you guys. I'm impressed, and I've got quite a bit of bacon here. All right, let's fry up some of our pork butt bacon. See how this stuff comes out. Do a few pieces of this. All right, here's our pork butt bacon. It's looking nice and done to me. I like to do mine just a little more on the done side when it comes to bacon. You saw me eat it before we fried it up. And now here it is all fried up. Man, I think it looks awesome. Remember, this is a little thicker than you'd get your store-bought bacon at, so this is going to have a little more of a... It's going to be a little different texture to it, but man, good nonetheless. Let's get a piece of this. Oh my. Why have I been eating store-bought bacon this whole time? My whole life. Pork butt bacon. $1.99 a pound. And then the ingredients that you throw in it. Just a little time. So good. From my family to yours, please like and subscribe. If you like this content, please maybe think about doing a membership. And thank you for spending some time with me. God, I appreciate that. All right, now. Till next time, from my pork butt bacon to your grill. Bye now. There we go, folks. Pork butt bacon and eggs and toast. My favorite. You just can't go wrong with a meal like this. And I'm excited to get into this thing and eat. Get that lovely egg yolk on my bacon and, you know, mix and meld this classic dish together. All right, thanks again. Bye now.